at 292-296 Rumford Road or email admin.edu_london@minhajuk.org.
मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन में आपका अतिया जिंदगी की उम्मीद आपकी मदद से मुमकिन हुआ। दुनिया भर में 30 लाख से ज्यादा खवातीन, बुजुर्गों और बच्चों तक साफ पानी की फ्राहमी, मुतासरा इलाकों में हंगामी इमदाद, यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चों की दादरसी। इस साल हम आपके ताउन से और आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं। अपनी ज़कात, सदकात और खैरात के जरिए इन मंसूबों का हिस्सा बनिए। अभी कॉल कीजिए 0300 3030 या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें www.minhajwelfare.org।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम फ़ज़्कुरूनी अज़्कुरकुम। अल्लाह रब्बुल इज़्ज़त ने फरमाया तुम मुझे याद करो मैं तुम्हें याद करूँगा। मिनहाजुल कुरान इंटरनेशनल लंदन ने 292-296 रोमफोर्ड रोड पर अपने कायद हुज़ूर सैयदी शेखुल इस्लाम प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर मोहम्मद ताहिर कादरी साहब की हिदायत पर हर हफ्ते अपने अवाम के लिए, रुफ़क़ा के लिए, ख़वातीन और बच्चों के लिए महफ़िल ज़िक्र का
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers. You're listening to Revive FM on 94.0. Studio number 0333440940. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, MixLR, TuneIn, revivefm.co.uk. So if you're listening, you're in the car, you're on the way home, you're getting ready for iftar, whatever you're doing at this time, please do tune into the radio and do share it with everyone, inshallah ta'ala. First and foremost, we apologise for a slight delay in starting. We have had some slight technical glitch, but we appreciate patience, and we know you're going to be listening, and you've tuned in, and you're sitting, waiting comfortably to listen, inshallah. This week's Mindset Show, my dear sisters and brothers. In this week's Mindset Show, we're going to be discussing, in the first few weeks we've been discussing, started off with what is mindset. And we found that mindset, we discussed that there are two different types of mindset. The fixed mindset and the growth mindset. The fixed mindset where most of the population are, and they would like to be going forward, they would like to change something in their lives, but yet they are too comfortable in where they are to take those steps, or they are too scared. And then we looked at exactly following on what keeps you in your fixed mindset was the last week's show. Whereas when we so we recognize now that we have this mindset, we have a need to, or a desire to want to change, or that there is a possibility of another option. But now we look at what was holding you back, and it's not the fears in the theme park, it's not the fears of a scary movie, it's the fears of what people will say, of the finger that they will point at you. And it's these mindsets and it's these fears of what they will say. What if I fail? What if I don't do this? What if I'm not good enough? What if everyone laughs at me again? And we're repeating the same patterns that we had as a child when we had that failure. We fell over in the playground and everyone laughed at you, and you might have grazed your knee, but they laughed. 20 years later, you're now as an adult. 30 years, 40 years later, you're as an adult in your family, in your work life. You are scared, you have the fear of failure. What will people say, my dear sisters and brothers, when you fall over? What will they say when you make that mistake? What will they say when you don't reach that goal? What will they say? What will they say? It's all about what they will say or not say. Will they support you? Will they not support you? And just a conversation, with one of my clients early this week, I was just discussing with them, and I was saying to them, I said, look, there are two types of people that will hold you. There are two main reasons why people will hold you back from achieving your goals and going out there and pursuing your goals. And those two reasons are either they fear that you may fall over and they don't want to see you get hurt, they don't want to see you fall over, they don't want to see you fail, they don't want to so forth, and they care for you. And the other reason why most people will hold you back unfortunately, is that they may be jealous, they may be envious, and they may even subconsciously, it's as if them saying to you, how dare you try achieving a goal? How dare you try going forward? You try changing your ways. You try doing something better. You are not worthy. You will stay where you are. And this is the subconscious that comes back. And this is the inner dialogue that we say to ourselves time and time again. And later throughout the conversation with this client, the client actually said that yes, these two reasons why you're held back is mostly, and these two reasons are mostly from, or these obstacles are mostly from your family, friends and loved ones, more so than your friends, more so than any random person you might meet online, Facebook or wherever. The people who are closest to you, your dearest and your nearest, your family, your friends, your so forth, whether it's your other half, your husband, your wife, they will hold you back. And it may not be intentional, it may be, usually it's a case of, I don't want to see you get hurt, I don't want to see you fail, I don't want to see you go through pain because you've gone through so much pain. And maybe it's also because they feel that maybe they can't deal with of you going through that pain. They don't want to see you going through the pain because they're not strong enough, or they feel they're not strong enough to support you when you're in that pain, when you're going through those tough times, when you're going through those challenges, and when you fall and when you fall again, and they don't want to see you fall. And the client later said that yes, this is my family, think that I'm not good enough. I've had family members say to me, and I've had other friends say to me that it's not good enough, or you can't achieve this goal, or this goal is way beyond your scope. Why are you even going for this goal? And it's exactly what we had discussed at the start of the conversation. Two main reasons why people, or rather the two biggest obstacles of what they will say comes from either because they care, or because they envy and they're jealous and they don't want you to achieve that result. But at the same time, you have to find that mindset. You have to hold on to those goals. Just like, I've used this example before, where you're on a way to a journey. You're not going to go from London to, let's say you're going to Pakistan or India and you stop over, or Bangladesh and you stop over to Dubai. You're not going to get to Dubai and say, okay, it was a 2-hour stopover, it's been a 3 hours or a 4-hour stopover, let's go back to London. You're not going to say, okay, well, there's been a delay with my bags, my suitcases, let's go back. You're not going to say, oh, I've forgotten my gloves or my favorite jumper or whatever or something, let's go back. You're going to keep going towards your goal, whatever the delay, whatever the setback, whatever there is, you're going to keep going, and you're going to focus on whatever reason you're going for. You're going to meet the relatives, you're going for a holiday, you're going on a wedding, whatever you're going for, you're going to focus on those reasons and that outcome, and everything else becomes secondary, because first and foremost priority is to get there, and that's your only priority. Doesn't matter how long it takes, doesn't matter what delay it is, doesn't matter if you lose one of your bags, you will still make your way to be going to that destination because of whatever your purpose, your motive and your intent. My dear listeners, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers, today we will be sharing tips, and we will be sharing signs on when it's time to change your mindset. How do you recognize that, okay, like when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, okay, so what's the issue? Okay, I've got this, I've got a temperature, I've got whatever, or I'm not well. How do you know you're not well? I've got a cough, I've got a cold, I'm blocked up, I'm sneezing, whatever, I've got a temperature, my temperature's like 38 degrees, I'm vomiting, or whatever the symptoms. So these signs, these are like the symptoms of the need of when it's now time to change your mindset. Just like when you're driving a car, when is it time to slow down? When is it time to change your gears and go faster? When is it time to turn the corner and turn in the road? There's a time to do that, and there's certain things you have to do, and there's certain things that indicate when you have to do. So for example, you're going out and all of a sudden it starts raining, you've got to get your hood on. You've got to put your hood on from your coat. Or if you don't have a hood, you need to run for cover quickly. We've all been through that one. So you've got to run for cover quickly, and you've got to, get out of the rain, otherwise you're going to get drenched. What are the signs that you need to start changing your mindset? How many of us are going through or experiencing the following signs? And we started with you're always focusing on what's wrong. So how many of us always focus on what's wrong? You always focus on the past. You always focus on what could have happened, what should have happened, what you could have said, what you could have done better, what you could have avoided. And it's all about who did what, why, where, when, how, and so forth, and what you could have done or not done to avoid it. And you're always focused on the past, and you're not looking forward. And the example I've used before, my dear sisters and brothers, and my dear fellow listeners in the community, and whoever's listening, however far this is getting out, is that people tend to focus on the past. It's just like when you're driving, you've got the rear view mirrors, you've got the side view mirrors, and they are for glancing in the past. You've got the big windscreen, the large windscreen ahead of you that you can stare at for ages on end, for however long you're driving. You can stare at there for ages on end, and you need to be looking forward. Whereas if you keep staring at the rear view mirror or the side mirrors for even a minute whilst you're driving, a minute is a very long time on the road, you stare at those, what's going to happen? Crash. You're going to have an accident. You're going to crash into another car. You're going to crash into a lamppost. You're going to crash into something. Alright? So you might as well stay safe and keep focusing on the windscreen. And just like when you're driving, similarly in life, if you keep focusing on the past, then that's a lot more destructive than actually going forward in the future. Very, very potentially dangerous to keep staying in the past. Because as human beings, we are not designed, we are not created. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite wisdom has not created man to be staying in the past, to be focusing on spending so much time and energy on what's already happened, or what could have happened, or what could not have happened, could have been avoided. But it's mankind and in human nature is to be going forward, to be moving forward. And if you are not moving forward, and under the microscope, every physical object is made of particles that are vibrating together, full of energy. So as human beings, we are made of thousands and millions and billions probably of particles that are vibrating together of energy. And when we stay in the past, then that's negative energy. And when we go forward, then that's positive energy. Because we are designed to be vibrating and moving forward, not to be staying in the same place. And the next sign that you need to change your mindset is that you avoid the truth. You avoid the truth. You avoid what is a reality. You avoid what is confronting your pain, confronting the actual real reasons why you're staying where you are. You avoid the real reasons of going forward. You avoid the actual actions that are required to go forward. Yet you have a choice. You have a choice to keep moving forward, or you have a choice to stay where you are. And regardless of whoever has done what, whatever fault it might have been because of whoever else, you are now in the driving seat. You now have the choice and the decision to go forward. You can't and you won't change your life overnight, so don't expect miracles. But what will happen is the decision to change your life can happen in a moment, can happen overnight. The process may take several months or even a few years. But the decision to start that process can be made whenever you choose to make that decision. And it is natural that you're going to fall over. You're going to go back to where you were. And this is where you need a coach to support you and hold you accountable and bring you back onto track and saying, these are your goals. This is where you now want to go, where you need to go. And if you go back off track, you're going to end up where you have always been for such a long time. And with successful people, they have a common trait. As they say, success leaves clues. Successful people, whenever they achieve a goal, whenever they have a victory, they celebrate. It doesn't mean that they have a big, massive party every time. But it means that they celebrate. They might give themselves a little treat. They might get themselves a little treat, or might be a box of chocolates, might be a day out, might be an extra time out from their work, might be time out with the family, might be whatever they want to do in whatever shape or form or size. People, when they celebrate, when they achieve their goals, their victories, as they get along, they celebrate their victories. And you can celebrate this in any fashion, in any manner that suits your ethics, that suits. So from a religious point of view, you can still celebrate. And you can celebrate in any form or manner that you find fit. However, when people do not change their when people do not celebrate their victories, they don't celebrate their victories, and instead they mourn their failures. They dwell on their failures again, avoiding the truth, and you're staying in the past. You're focused on what's wrong. They all combine together. This is the next sign that you need to change your mindset. You mourn your failures more than you celebrate your victories, if you celebrate your victories. Just like at the loss of someone passing away, you mourn the loss of that person, that there is now a gap in your life as a result of that person not being there anymore, family, friend, relative, work colleague, or whoever it might be, the postman, the person in the local corner shop, whoever. Similarly, you then mourn and you dwell and you are down and you focus on the failure. I wish I had done this. I wish I had only done it like this. I had only started earlier. I had only spoken to them. I had X, Y, Z, this and that, ABC, X, Y, Z, and that's what you focus on. You focus on your failures rather than your victories. And in NLP, as an NLP coach and trainer, coach and trainer of NLP and hypnosis, I work with clients one-to-one, and I work with them for several issues. And one of the things that we bring up is the idea of perception is projection. Whatever you focus on, my dear sisters and brothers, what you focus on is what becomes your reality. So when you say, so sometimes I'll ask my clients, how is your world? Because each and every single one of us are exposed to the same settings, the same environment, but how we perceive it, which I've covered in my previous shows with the filters, how we perceive it is different to how everyone else perceives it. And if we're going to say, it's everything is rubbish, life is terrible, life is XYZ, then you know what? it will continue to be that way. But when you turn around and say, even if life is not going as you want it to, even if you are not achieving your goals, even if you're going through failures, you're going through tough times, going through maybe you've had you got challenges in your health, in your finance, in your business, in your relationships, in your studies, in your workplace, whatever area of life you've got challenges, and you turn around and say with the mindset, actually, how is life going for you? Actually, I am very, very blessed. I am blessed that I am able to breathe. The fact that my limbs are intact, the fact that I have no physical or mental disability, and even if you do have any, then it could always be worse. And know that whatever situation you are in, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite wisdom is putting you through this situation, and He tells in the Quran, and we will not put you, and we will not place a burden on you greater than you can bear. Verily with every difficulty comes ease. Difficulty here is singular, ease is plural. So with a single difficulty you have many ease, lots of easiness coming your way with every difficulty. This is a mercy and the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to replace with difficulty with many easiness. And you have a choice. You can make that decision. And regardless of whatever your difficulties, regardless of whatever your challenges, regardless of your physical or mental disabilities, if you have any, you, every single one of you, I promise you, every single one of you, if you were to take a sheet of paper or a notepad of paper and write down, whoever's listening to this now as live or as a replay, if you were to write down everything that's not going well for you in your life, in any area of your health, your family, your relationships, your finance, your business, your work, whatever, your spiritual aspect, anything you want to write down, any area you want to write down as many things as you can, and I guarantee you that then you take on a separate side of the paper or on a separate sheet of paper, you then start writing down everything that's going well for you in your life. And the latter will outweigh the former. I guarantee you, if you think and you focus everything that's going well for you in your life, there's a lot more going well for you in your life than things that are not going well for you. Because always remember, my dear sisters and brothers, that no matter what situation, what difficulty, what challenge you're going through, which may seem through like, I'm the only one going through this and I've got it, I'm the only one who's got it so bad, there are people out there who've got it much worse than you. Much worse than you. I guarantee you, there's always someone who is in a much more challenging, difficult situation. And this leads me on to my next point, where the next sign and the next symptom of where you need to change your mindset is that you're always angry when expectations are not met. How many people notice this at a work, whether it's a work colleague, whether it's someone at your school, college, university, whether it's in your relationship, that all of a sudden, that individual will be frustrated. They'll express a certain amount of anger. They'll just some short-tempered and just something, and you're like, well, what happened to him? Or, excuse me, what happened to him? What did I say to her? Or, I just said something normal, and how did that person react? I mean, was it my fault? Did I say something? Or, is that person okay, even? Because you are angry, and they're angry at themselves when expectations are not met. And sometimes they're angry, and that anger comes out. And other people are on the receiving end of it. Not because they've done something wrong, because the individual, their own expectations are not met. And the reason their expectations are not met is because they've set unrealistic expectations for their current mindset. And they don't know how to meet those expectations. They haven't got support to meet those expectations. They haven't got a pattern. They haven't got a strategy to meet those expectations. They're not aware of someone else's mindset and model of how they met those similar expectations to achieve those targets and those deadlines. And as a result, it comes out as anger, because they don't know how to control what's happening inside. They don't know how to control their internal dialogue, their inner dialogue, and their inner voices. Constantly, every now and then, angry with themselves or even with others because expectations are not met, and it is no fault of the other individual. I guarantee you, if any of you has experienced this on the receiving end, it is not your fault. It is what's happening on their inside, in their mindset. And you tend to have, and as I said, that there are those two obstacles of the people will stop you from achieving your goals, either those who are, because they care about you and they don't want to see you fail, or because they may be jealous and they may envy you, and as a result, when you are angry and when you do have you're angry because expectations are not met, as a result, you do fall into disputes with those who especially care about you. Again, not because something they have done wrong, because you are struggling and you're having a challenging time to manage your own emotions and your own mindset. And it's as a result of that you then fall into disputes. See, this is now your internal dialogue, your internal voices, your internal emotions, because now it's just like a fizzy drink bottle that you shake the fizzy drink bottle, and if you shake it, or a fizzy drink can, you shake it hard enough, then it will all spurt out. As soon as you slightly open a millimeter or two of that fizzy drink bottle, it's going to go everywhere. It's going to spray everywhere. And exactly the same with the fizzy drink can. It's going to go everywhere. And these are your emotions coming out. This is what's happening when, just like the fizzy drink bottle is coming out, this is what's happening with the individual, that they're angry, the expectations are not met, they fall into disputes with those who care. Because internally, it's very fuzzy, it's very unclear, they're not sure, they're very challenged of how to deal with themselves inside and manage their emotions, manage their thought process, manage their strategies, and manage their inner voices, their inner dialogue. And as a result, it then, see, all of these, they all lead on to another ripple effect onto another one. And the next sign to when it's time to change your mindset is that the individual is unsatisfied. They are unhappy with themselves, and they're unhappy with what they have or what they don't have. They are constantly complaining, either to yourself or in their actions. They're constantly in resentment of where I am, and you will not find them being grateful, or not as grateful as much. Because as I said before, you take a sheet of paper or a pad of paper, however many sheets, write down everything that's not going right for you in your life, in any area, in any shape or size or form, whether your health, finance, business, spiritual connection with God, whatever. And you write down everything that's going right for you in your life on another sheet of paper, or as many sheets of paper as you want, and I guarantee you more things are going right for you. But then this individual, when you're in a state where you need to, prior to changing your mindset, you're always focusing on the negative, you're always focusing on what you don't have, or you're unhappy with what you do have, or unhappy with what you don't have as well. And you're always focusing on that, rather than focusing on what you do have, being grateful. The greatest example of being grateful, we look at our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who would cry in his prayer. This is a man who is, we believe, is the greatest of creation, and he has been promised paradise, eternal paradise, Jannah, and he is crying heavily in his prayer at night time. And he's crying and weeping, and his wife later, Aisha radiallahu anha, says, ask, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, why do you cry in your prayer when you are guaranteed paradise? And what was his reply? Can I not be grateful at least to my Lord, to show some gratitude? Because if we were grateful and showed gratitude every moment and every second of our lives, that would still not be enough to match up and weigh in and the bounties and the blessings of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite wisdom has bestowed on us. The fact that we are living, we are talking, we are walking, we are eating, we are listening right now to this show, wherever you are sitting, where you are, and the fact that you are alive, and as I've mentioned in my previous shows, doesn't matter how bad life gets, doesn't matter what happens, doesn't matter how many times you're up against the wall or for how long life puts you up against the wall, and doesn't matter how many times you are checked, it is never ever ever checkmate until your time is up, until you are breathing no more. That's checkmate, because then you have time not to do anything more to better or to improve. But until then, it's always check. And anyone who knows anything about a game or knows a thing or two about the game of chess, and I'm not an expert and I'm not a master at chess, but this is a simple basic rule, is that if you are check, it doesn't mean the game's over. It means that you still have an option, you still have a move that you can come out of, pull out of the check. So whether it's in your family or your relationships or your work or your health or your finance or whatever, there's always something that this person who now needs to change their mindset is unhappy about and unsatisfied about, because things are not right, or they are not how they want them, and they don't have something, or they have something that they don't want. And when you get through life and this person is working through life passively, everything is a chore because you have to do things versus you need to do things, you want to do things. Because when you want to do something, you do it with passion, you do it with love, you do it with happiness. But when you have to do something, you're like, oh, do I have to? How many of us feel like that? Whether it's house chores, whether it's with family, whether it's with relatives, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in your health, in your diet, in your finance, whatever it is, whatever area it is, no matter how small it is, we all feel like, do I have to? Do I really have to? Oh, okay then. And you do it passively for the sake of it. How many of us have felt like that? And all of these signs are ripple effects of what need to change your mindset, because you come to a point where you can go through these motions and you go through this time and time again throughout for many years on end, even decades, and you go through and you don't even realize that you're doing them. And then, as I said, you have so much internally and eventually it all comes out, just like the fizzy drink bottle. So you're having your angry at expectations not met, you're having disputes with others. And now the next sign goes one step further, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers. And as a reminder, you're listening to Revive FM, studio number 0333 444 0940, and we are live on Facebook, YouTube, MixLR, and TuneIn, and online on radiofm.co.uk. You're listening to Mubashar Latif, and I am your host for the Mindset Show. And the next sign, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers, of when it's time to change your mindset, is you now start getting involved in other people's drama. But he said this, he said that, she did this, she did that, and you start getting involved in it. How dare he do this? Why is he doing this to me? I can't believe this. When 6 months ago, 2 years ago, or 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, you'd never ever get involved in that, because that's not for you. It's not your concern. It's not your issue. It's not going to help you go forward. my dear sisters and brothers. It's not going to help you achieve your goals. It's not going to help you come out of your fixed mindset. It's not going to help you in the dunya or the akhirah. It is not going to help you. Major sign that you need to start changing your mindset, because you are in a fixed mindset. And the next sign is that you hold yourself victim, which pretty much sums up everything. Poor me. It's so much, all that has happened, and oh gosh, life is terrible, life is bad. Yes, I had that happen to me, and because of that, X, Y, Z. And because of that, X, Y, Z. And it's all happening to me, and I've got no control over it. I can't do anything more. You know, it's my boss, it's my partner, it's my other half, it's my family, my relative, it's my work colleague, it's a dog next door who ate my homework. Something or another, we blame them, as long as we are not blaming us. And then we say, and hence, see, in NLP is awesome, completely awesome, because just with change of one word, and I'm going to share a classic example which I use with my clients. By changing one word, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers, you can completely change the perspective and turn it on its head completely and fully. Because, for example, when you say, I can't do something, I can't do it, you're throwing the blame onto something or someone else. I can't do it because it's traffic. I can't do it because I've got all of this pile of work and they keep giving me work. But hey, you could say no. You could prioritize. I can't do it because of my health. Yes, there are some things, a lot of things you may not be able to do if you do have health issues. But at the same time, you know yourself that there are maybe things that you can do, and if you really want to do them, even with your health issues, you can do them. And not just with health, in any other situation, in any other area of your life. What are the excuses that we are using, that we tell others? That I can't do this because of this. Excuse me. Sorry, because we had the technical glitch issue at the late start at the beginning, we will be carrying on a little bit more past 8 o'clock. So please do keep listening, inshallah, and keep watching. What are the excuses that you keep telling and you keep to tell others? And in actual fact, they're excuses against your own self. I can't do this and such, or whatever, I'm busy. Oh yeah, got him off my back. Great. But in actual fact, who loses out? If you do that task, it makes you that much better person. If you do that task, if you're actually making an excuse, it's a valid excuse, fine. But if you're making an excuse really for the sake of doing it, for the sake of avoiding something, and going back to an earlier point, for the sake of avoiding the truth and facing your pains and facing the coming out of the comfort zone, then this is what you need to ask yourself. This is when it's now time to think, right, maybe I need to look at my mindset. Because you can either have results or you can have excuses. And that one word from changing from can't to won't. Because when I then say to my clients, change that word from can't to won't, instead of saying I can't do this, now say I won't do this. Now why won't you do this? Now the responsibility comes back onto yourself. And the process of change is not overnight. It's never ever overnight. It will take time, right? As I mentioned last week, The Chinese bamboo stick, 5 years it grows underground. 5 years, my dear sisters and brothers of other mothers. And in 5 weeks it shoots up 90 foot. Last week I made a mistake. I said in 6 weeks in a few weeks it shoots up 6 foot. Sorry, my mistake. In 5 weeks it shoots up 90 foot. Google it. The Chinese bamboo stick. Does it grow in 5 weeks or 5 years? No, it doesn't grow in 5 weeks. Yes, 5 weeks it shoots above the ground 90 foot. But in order to reach that point, it takes 5 years for it to grow underground. Anything and everything in the course of nature, look at it. A flower, a plant, a fruit, a food, a human being even, an animal, any and every living thing takes time to grow. So if the course of nature is that things do not happen overnight, then why is it that we expect things to happen overnight when that's highly unrealistic, and we should then hence be prepared that it will take a lot longer? You cannot start leaving from your house and walking and saying, I'm going to walk from London and or get a boat to France, whatever, get to France, and from France I'm then going to walk through all of Europe, Asia, and get to Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, however many months it's going to take, and expect to get there in 8-9 hours as if you were on a plane. It just does not work that way. So again, going back to the point of angry when expectations are not met. So when you continuously allow yourself to stay victim, then you will always be victim. Perception is projection. But then when you start turning things around, and this is where you need a coach to start helping you and give you that support to start turning things around, because life, you've been in that pattern subconsciously, passively, going through the motions, day in, day out, sleeping, getting up, going through the motion, doing whatever you do in your daily cycle, and then going back to bed, and then getting up thinking tomorrow will be different. I wish tomorrow was different. In any form, whether you're in your work, in your job, in your career, in your health, in your finance, in your wealth, in your spirituality, in your religion, in whatever focus, with your family, with your kids, whatever area you want to look at. You continuously keep going through the motions. Einstein said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting a different result. Because you can't expect a different result if you keep doing the same thing over and over again. The mind which created the problem cannot be the same mind which solves the problem. You need a different mindset to now solve the problem. Many years ago, once when I used to do martial arts, and I came across this quote in the magazine, and it's so true and it's so apparent right now, that it was a 90-10 ratio. 90% of the time you concentrate on the solution, and 10% you concentrate on the problem. Because when you concentrate on the solution more and more, the problem will of the problem, then the problem will begin to disperse. And many of you have come across Bruce Lee, Kung Fu fighter. And I'm going to finish off the radio station here now, sorry. Just finish off on this last point. And Bruce Lee, he has a 1-inch punch and a 3-inch punch. And when he would punch not just to hit the target but so his fist is past the target. And if you don't have a plan in life, then you're always going to be part of someone else's plan in any area of your life. Jazakallah khair, brothers and sisters, for listening. You've been listening to Revive FM 94.0 FM, and 0333 444 0940. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, MixLR. You've been listening to your host, Mubashar Latif. I'm coach and trainer of NLP and hypnosis. And if you have any issues, we're looking to discuss relationships, business, and other areas of life and mindset. And you've been listening to us. Jazakallah khair. May you have a fantastic iftar. And inshallah, listen to you guys next week, inshallah. And tune in next week, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.